Have you ever looked at the stock market, all those squiggly lines going up and down, and just thought, is there any pattern to this madness? Well, today we're going to dig into a really cool theory that says, yeah, there is. Let's get right into it.
It's the million-dollar question, right? Is the market just random, a total chaotic mess? Or is there something else going on under the hood? What if I told you the real secret isn't in the numbers, but in human psychology?
So picture this. It's the 1930s. A guy named R.N. Elliott, an accountant of all people, gets this idea in his head. He starts digging through like 75 years of stock market data. And after all that work, he stumbles onto something huge, a hidden rhythm he believed could actually predict where the market was headed.
So this brings us to the core of his big idea, the market's hidden pattern. Elliott's theory is actually built on this really simple but kind of profound concept. Markets move in waves. Let's break that down.
Okay, so what Elliott found was this repeating 5-3 pattern. He saw that a market trend moves forward in 5 waves and then pulls back in 3. Those first 5 waves, he called them impulse waves. And the 3-wave pullback? Those are corrective waves. For this explainer, we're going to zero in on that powerful 5-wave impulse.
All right, so let's get into the anatomy of an impulse wave. Think of it like the life cycle of a trend. We're going to look at what each of these 5 waves really means and what's driving them.
Okay, looking at this chart for the first time, yeah, it can look like a confusing mess of lines. But, just like the slide says, let's splash some color on this bad boy. See? Suddenly, those 5 distinct waves that make up the whole impulse pattern really start to pop. So within this 5-wave pattern, you've really only got 2 types of waves to worry about. First, you have the motive waves. That's waves 1, 3, and 5. These are the powerhouses, the ones that actually push the trend forward. Then you have the corrective waves, 2 and 4. Think of these as the market taking a quick breather before the next push. Every story has a beginning, right? And for a market trend, that beginning is wave 1. This is the first move, the initial spark that gets the whole fire started.
Yeah, wave 1 really is the spark. It's this small, often overlooked move that signals, hey, that last trend might be over. It's the first hint that something new is beginning to take shape.
So who's behind wave 1? Well, it's not the masses. It's usually just a small group of really smart, maybe even contrarian investors. They're looking at the market, which is probably still feeling pretty negative, and they're thinking, you know what? This price is cheap. It's time to buy. They're the ones brave enough to jump in when everyone else is still scared.
Okay, so after that initial spark, things get interesting. We move into a phase of doubt, followed by a powerful confirmation. This is where we find out if this new trend has legs or if it's just going to fizzle out. Think of wave 2 as the market's first uh-oh moment. Those early buyers from wave 1, they start taking some profits, and the price dips. A lot of people see this and think, see, I knew it, the old downtrend is back. But then, bam, wave 3 hits. And wave 3 is usually the longest and strongest wave of them all. This is the moment the general public, the masses, finally catch on and realize, whoa, this is a real trend.
And that's why we call it the stampede. Wave 3 is fueled by everyone piling in. You start seeing positive news, the momentum builds, and it just attracts a flood of new buyers. The price shoots up to new highs. This is really the heart of the trend.
But, no trend can go up forever. As it starts to mature, we head into the final phases. This is where you see a mix of savvy traders taking profits and eventually a whole lot of emotional, almost hysterical buying.
Wave 5 is the trend's grand finale. It's the last big push. It's often driven less by logic and more by pure emotion. Greed, fear of missing out, all that good stuff. It's this final, kind of irrational surge before the whole thing runs out of steam.
So wave 4 is another one of those little pullbacks. But by now, the trend is so established that a lot of people see it as a fantastic buy-the-dip opportunity. All that buying then kicks off wave 5, which is that final frenzied move up. This is the point where everyone is talking about this asset. It's on the news, your uncle is talking about it, you get the idea.
And this quote really nails it. This is the point that most people pay attention to the asset and is mostly driven by hysteria. I mean, at this point, all fundamental analysis is out the window. It's pure emotion, people jumping in because they're terrified of being left behind. It's the absolute peak of optimism, right before it all comes crashing down. But, of course, that kind of party can't last. Eventually, there are just no more buyers left. The frenzy dies down, the price loses its momentum, and just like that, the 5-wave impulse is over. And that, of course, sets the stage for the next move. Okay, so we've walked through all 5 waves. But there is one absolutely crucial, unbreakable rule you have to know if you want to use this pattern effectively.
So with all these waves and patterns, what's the one thing, the one rule that you absolutely cannot forget? What's the key that unlocks the whole thing?
Here it is. This is the golden rule. One of the 3 impulse waves, so that's wave 1, 3, or 5, will always be extended. That's it. It's a simple rule, but it's everything.
So what does extended even mean? It's actually super simple. It just means one of those 3 motive waves is going to be way, way longer than the other 2. They're never all the same length. Most of the time it's wave 3, but it doesn't have to be. Spotting this extended wave is how you know you're looking at a strong, healthy trend.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Elliott's wave principle, it's not just about drawing lines on a chart. What you're really looking at is a map of human emotion, a visual representation of the crowd moving from pessimism to hope, to optimism, and finally to total euphoria. So the real question isn't just, can you spot this pattern in the market? It's, if you can spot it out there, can you start to master those same emotional drivers inside yourself?